Joe, welcome back. Brother, I have missed your face. We are back live with FBU Huddle. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Well, it's great. I don't miss your face because I see it all over social media. You're bouncing around FBU camp. You know, they still got me quarantined up here in the Northeast. I can't wait to get out in May and hit the campground with you.
I mean, I think your time is coming, Joe. Northeast camps are right around the corner. We're getting ready to kick off. What's the first one coming up in the Northeast, Joe?
Well, if you consider we got Richmond and Baltimore, those are early. I consider those Northeast creeping up Mid-Atlantic area, but good and close enough to the Northeast for my football blood to get boiling. Then we've got our Boston camp, June 5th and 6th up in Boston. Normally that's the end of June, but we had to kind of flip that with some venue switching. So we're going to put New Jersey at the back end of our camps up here in the Northeast, and we're going to start it off with Boston, which is always an awesome camp in Boston. Tons of talent comes out of that camp.
Always.
Shoot, half the Boston College roster is loaded with some FBU alumni these days. But yeah, man, we're going to kick it off in Boston, June 5th and 6th.
Yeah, well, that's not right, Joe. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, June 5th and 6th for Boston. We had a little switch. And for those of you that are watching tonight, if you're coming to Richmond and Baltimore, you get a treat. You're going to get Joe and Matt at Richmond and Baltimore coming up. I mean, those are the camps to be at this year, in my opinion, Joe. Richmond and Baltimore. But thank you so much, everybody who's tuned in to watch us tonight. We've got a fantastic show. We're going to talk a little bit about our 2021 camp season that we've already kick-started and got underway. Want to give everybody kind of an update and a recap on what we've done so far. Go over some of the guys that have won big-time awards, some of our freshman All-American Bowl selections from the camp season thus far, kids that have punched their ticket to the Paradise Coast down in Naples, Florida for the Top Gun Showcase, some FBU National Championship winners, National Combine winners. We've seen it all. I mean, Joe, we've already executed after this weekend in Indianapolis. We'll have done 12 camps already. Can you believe that we've already done 12 camps?
Not still in a global pandemic, no. But I'm excited we're able to pull it off, and have it do it in a safe manner where these kids who've been sometimes lacking football for almost a full year have been able to really get out there, get in front of our coaches, improve their technique, and be seen by our 24/7 eyes and get talked about a little bit and get some film and boost their recruiting exposure a little bit. So I'm very happy and proud of FBU for what we're able to do so far.
Yeah, we've already had over 2,000 student athletes attend FBU camps in 2021. It looks like the one-day model has been a hit. And speaking of the one-day model, not this weekend, but next weekend we'll be in Cincinnati and Columbus. And for everybody that's tuning in, at the end of tonight's show, we're going to be bringing on a special guest. You may know him. He's a former All-American Bowl on NBC participant, FBU family member, somebody who is going to be making an impact up in Columbus next fall for the Buckeyes. Paris Johnson Jr. will be joining us at the end of the show. And look, couldn't be more excited about the success of our one-day camps. It seems to be working, Joe. It seems like the exposure aspect from 24/7, the combine testing from Athletified, what we're doing with the Wilson QB Challenge. Tell our folks at home a little bit about the one-day camp model if they're not positive about what it is yet.
So traditionally we've got our 2-day camp model, which we still offer in some of our locations. You can check our website or schedule for that. But what we've done is kind of really stripped it down a little bit from our 2-day model, where we're still getting plenty of quality coaching and technique development on the field. But what we've really taken away is some of that classroom aspect and really kind of kept it outside on the field. So we have our in between the practices, we have our recruiting seminar by our partners in NCSA. We also have now Athletified getting verified times. And that's what all the college coaches want in this pandemic, is verified times on athletes. And with the Athletified system and having them coach our coaches in the right procedures and protocols, that our FBU campers are getting those verified times and getting those measurables matched up with kids from across the country in all the events that Athletify does. And more importantly, those verified times are getting and statistics are getting to the college coaches. So that's something that's very important we've done that we have not really done in the past a little bit. So the one-day model is just, again, lightens a little bit on two things. One, on the commitment for the athlete, because now that college camps are starting to open up a little bit soon, and it gives the athletes a chance to do other opportunities, other events going on outside of FBU on a given weekend. And then also too, from a budgetary standpoint, a lot of families have been kind of made dinged a little bit from their budget. And with our new pricing, we were able to offer FBU at a lot more economic value for the families. And more importantly, we're now this one-day model, we're able to bring it to more cities. Yep. More cities, more locations than just our 20, 30, 60 regional camps. Our two-day models. Now we're able to do a one-day model in this town, and then we pack all the coaches and the equipment up, and we're in the next town, maybe 1 or 2 states over. So we're able to really hit a lot more geographic area of this great country with our FBU technique coaches.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen thus far. I think, Joe, you hit it on the head there about going from city to city. I mean, we were able to go from San Antonio to Austin, from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, get into some markets that maybe where football camps aren't run. You look at a Kansas City, then a St. Louis, or even this past weekend, we go Louisville to Lexington, right? I mean, we haven't had a FBU camp in the Bluegrass State in years, and we had over 250 athletes this past weekend in Louisville and Lexington. Kids are itching to get out there. We want to bring this product to as many cities as possible to give kids the opportunity to get better and get seen. And I think it's been great. I mean, let's get into some fun stuff, Joe. We've had some studs come to these camps. And not only have we had some studs, we've had some surprise guests. I mean, just this past weekend in Louisville and Lexington, you're talking about quality coaching. We've had a guy like Cash Daniels was out there and helped coached up our linebackers. Or back down when I was, on that road trip, Joe, when I was down in Dallas and in some of those Texas camps, we had Casey Thompson on site working with some of the quarterbacks down there. So the quality of coaching and the FBU family truly is real. It's great to see guys that have been part of our system growing up. Those were FBU campers. They're big time stars now, and they're coming back to help the next generation. And
it is. And that's the blessing, Matt, of what we've been able to build over the past 12 years with FBU is we have seen kids. I mean, we got the Christian McCaffreys. We got the great guys, the Trevor Lawrence of the world. But some of these other guys that have done a great job of their own communities, excelled at high school, become All-Americans for us, and now playing at the elite college level, are done with their careers and maybe haven't gotten that call to the NFL yet, but still want to give back. And it's neat because now that I'm posting a little bit in the Northeast here, I'm pinging some of our alumni. I go, hey, Coach, I'm going to be in the area. Can I come by the camp? I'm like, heck yeah, come back in. And I think it was great. You mentioned about Casey Thompson coming in, who's got a good shot of being the starting quarterback at University of Texas this year. And, his father, longtime FBU coach, Charles Thompson of Oklahoma and Lower there, is he really spent the day and really talked to our FBU kids. What is a day in the life of a Division I athlete about? And it was riveting. I mean, from what I hear there, you could hear a pin drop in the room because the kids wanted that knowledge. They want to know what is that experience, because that's what they want. That's the level they want to be at. And to get that just info from a raw forum of just having kids just sitting down and talking like you and I are doing right now, that's just priceless for our families.
Well, and we're just having fun right here, Joe, just me and you talking. I mean, we're just having a good time. But it is great to have those guys come back and drop that knowledge and coach up the kids. And that's what we're going to keep doing, right? In May and June and July, we're going to keep bringing that quality of coaching staff to every camp and provide that interaction and opportunity for the players. But the players have been on the field making plays, Joe. I mean, think about all the awards that we have already given out this year. I mean, I look at the 2021 FBU Freshman All-American Bowl, and I look back at the months of March and April, and, slots are starting to fill up because we're finding talent at our regional camps. I mean, I'm looking at, we've already given out 4 Freshman All-American Bowl invites at our camps this year. We've never done that before, and we're going to continue to find more. I mean, you look at what we did down in Texas with the Richardson boys, Jamon and Rashad, getting their freshman bowl invite. You look at the defensive end down in Dallas, Texas, Keelan Abrams. I mean, just a fantastic 2 days in Dallas. And then this past weekend in Louisville, Austin Alexander, related to former NFL running back for the Seattle Seahawks, Sean Alexander, also got his freshman All-American Bowl invite. So the opportunity is real to get that invite to the big game, right? To the big dance as a freshman. So if you haven't thought about registering and don't believe that the opportunity to get invited at a camp is real, that's not the case. Joe, tell people a little bit about the FBU National Championship kids that have gotten invited already on that path to Naples.
Yeah, no, we've had a ton. I mean, right here's a group that came in, I think, from the Kansas City camp. So these are all athletes that were at the camp. A lot of times we're at the camp, the team directors from that region or regions that are surrounding that camp location are there with their coaches. Why? Because they know they can scout the talent. You know, they can see these rising, current fifth graders going to be rising sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders, and see them interact, how they respond to the coaching that our guys give. How do they compete in the one-on-one drills? And some of them are already been on the team last year and are kind of alumni of the national championship and just leveling up to the next grade. And they're all at the camp as well. So we've had quite a few, come in here. We had some from our Kansas City camp. Here's our Kentucky team.
Man, look at Bronson Gowdy right there in the middle, just building up another powerhouse for this December.
Man. They brought it this year, and so they're looking just reload it for this year. So again, everybody's there. It's a great opportunity for everybody to be, from young talent to kind of be seen and get that first eyes from those our coaches that are really on the field evaluating our middle school group on who's the kids and finding kids. That's the best part is sometimes parents come to FBU camps, don't know about the national championship, sit down and get to chat with the team director, get to chat with some of the coaches, and just puts them on that path to Naples, which is fantastic.
100%. I mean, and speaking of the path to Naples, I mean, I think we got to look at Top Gun, right? We've been fortunate enough to have a great partnership this year with 24/7 Sports, who's at every camp. Following the camp, they're sending out a recap, right, of their top performers, right, who are being named as, the no sweat all camp team. Thus far, Joe, we have already handed out 425 invites to the Top Gun Showcase, right? They have punched their ticket down to Naples, right? And you may think that's a lot if you're out there listening, but it's really not. 2,000 student athletes have already been at camp, right? So we're only taking the top 25, what is that, 20%, Joe? That's only 20% of the campers that have come, right? And it's been fantastic to work with 24/7 Sports, have their expertise and their eyes out on our student athletes, evaluating them, looking at the combine times that the kids are getting from Athletified, right? And then being able to provide people the feedback of these are the kids that shined and showed out. And if you haven't seen those recaps, certainly check out Andrew Ivins on Twitter to see everything that he's been doing from a 24/7 Sports perspective. But, man, that golden ticket, down to Naples for Top Gun, it's getting thinner and thinner. So these May and June camps, these student athletes better bring it, right? Because slots are going to fill up very quickly.
Absolutely. After doing this for 12 years, we know that those early camp coaches tend to be a little bit maybe generous with those, but once they see that competition around all those different camps, they know that, okay, I'm going to tighten up my critiquing on some of this talent because we really need to have the best down there. So, Matt, you know what? We talk about Top Gun, but what is really, if I'm a newbie parent, if I'm a rookie parent, part of FBU, what is the difference between the FBU regional camp and Top Gun? What in your opinion is what separates the two?
Yeah, well, I think that there's a couple things, Joe, and I'm glad that you brought that up. One, it's 3 days, right? So if you're going to a one-day camp, you're getting 3 times the amount of reps and interaction, right? And at the core of what Top Gun is, and I think the proof is in the pudding there with the numbers I just said, is it's the top kids, right? We want the top players from the camps to be down there for a 3-day showcase, July 9th through 11th. And I think the big difference, Joe, between what you get at a regional camp, whether it's a 1-day or 2-day, is when we're at those camps, we're separating them by groups, right? You know, you've got a middle school group and you've got a high school group. In Naples, for the Top Gun Showcase, the 3-day event, we're separating you by grad class, right? So you 2025s, you're competing against 2025s. 2023s, you're against 2023s. So there's no imbalance in terms of the competition of maybe a 6th grader is going up against an 8th grader at a regional camp. Now that 6th grader might be really good and can handle it, but it's nice to get that difference. Look, the coaching is stronger because we're bringing our top coaches, you know, just like we do with the top players. The competition is better. You get more reps, more instruction. There's more media outlets down there, more opportunities. We're giving out, you know, 150 plus national combine invites, future showcase invites. We'll pick more freshman All-Americans. So the opportunity is grander. The competition is better. Okay. And look, it's 3 days in Naples, Florida, right? I mean, it sure as heck beats 3 days in Indiana. I mean, it snowed here, Joe. It snowed here this week. All right. It's April, right? I don't think it's going to be snowing in July down in Florida at the brand new Paradise Coast Sports Complex.
It better not be. A world of hurt right there. I tell you what, just to add that point, is something I always talk about to the kids up here in the Northeast is, you know, the regional camps is technique development. Top Gun is how good is your technique under the pressure of competition. So if I'm a sophomore in high school, I know that in 2 years, and I'm looking at some of these Power 5 conference schools and these scholarships, I'm being compared to other kids in my class from across the country. And there's a great opportunity if I've never competed with kids from my region maybe, but never competed with kids nationally. Top Gun is a great introduction to do that. Whether you're a middle school kid going into freshman year, sophomore, junior, or you're rising senior, you really need to get that extra bump up from exposure. You know, Top Gun's the place to do it. You know, I can't tell you the amount of great exposure the kids coming out of Top Gun. You do. It's great if you're big dog. It's even greater if you're a big dog at the national camp and 24/7's talking about in their recaps. We've seen a lot of things shift.
We're gonna have some big dogs down there, right, Joe? I mean, we're gonna have our G Award winners. You know, I mean, we've had some MVPs at this camp. You know, we've had somebody right there. You know, Mario Eugenio, who was the top dog at Orlando. I mean, look at all those offers. But you know, he took home the Gatorade G Award. Could not be more excited to see him down at the Paradise Coast for the Top Gun Showcase. You know, another guy right here, Kalen Jaws Washington. I mean,
Washington. I mean, come on.
What a nickname. I mean, this guy's going to be famous. I mean, Jaws right here. We've actually known about Jaws for years. He's been part of FBU Team Kentucky for the past 3 years, just a load to handle as a running back. And he took home the middle school G Award this past weekend. Tyler Morris, who holds multiple offers, actually took home the high school G Award. But outside of the G Award, the thing we've seen is great quarterback play. And we've seen some MVPs, some G Award quarterback winners. But the other thing that we're seeing, right, is we're getting to camps and we've got these great G Award winners. And we've seen a couple quarterbacks take home the G Award. You know, we had Tyler Aronson down in Florida. We had Mr. Lauder, who was also down in Florida and came up to Kansas City to spin it a little bit. And what we're seeing is, okay, the eyes are starting to match some of the data because our quarterbacks are going through the Wilson QB challenge, okay? So if we go, man, I think that's the best quarterback, well, guess what? This Wilson QB challenge testing that the quarterbacks are going through, it's matching up with that. The best guys are proving to be the best. So, Joe, tell the people at home, especially the quarterbacks that are out there listening, tell them a little bit about the Wilson QB challenge and what quarterbacks at the high school level can expect to do at our camps.
Well, I'll tell you, Wilson's got this fantastic technology they woven into their own balls, that it's this chip technology that is all the movements, the spin of the ball, the accuracy, the trajectory is all being measured statistically, and you're getting verified times. So just like we're doing with Athletified on the combine or the pro shuttle, the 40 time, we're now getting those verified stats from a football. From the football and the way the athletes are throwing it. So whether it is precision on our accuracy, it is the spin, the velocity, the distance, all these types of things that we're getting all these measurables on it, Matt. I'm going to kind of hide here for a second here.
Oh, don't hide me,
on
Joe.
the screen so you can almost see.
Don't hide me, Joe.
So we can see, maybe a little tight to see here. I'll even hide myself so we go full screen on it. But they can now, athletes can see where they stand, with every kid from every camp. So we've got the Missouri kids, Texas kids, Florida kids, Kentucky. So the statistics allows us to really figure. So your average release time, your average velocity, your spin rate, your spiral efficiency. So we put them through this test that Wilson has done, and it sets a template for all the camps so that now whenever you're a quarterback, you can see, wow, where's my rating, both with all of the FBU kids across the camp. So, man, when we're done with all of our camps, this is going to be some huge stats to really evaluate our quarterbacks and allow our kids to really get a self-reflection to say, well, you know what, maybe I do need to work on a little bit more. Maybe I do need to focus a little bit more on my technique, ways that I can do it, whether it be strength conditioning, flexibility, my footwork, all those intangibles, the little techniques that our FBU coaches work on and tweak to enhance your statistics. So you'll see where you are now at the regional camps, and then, hey, maybe get retested at Top Gun and see how you do. Or some of our kids are even going to, because we now have all these single-day, one-day camps, they're using that all-access pass on multiple camps. So they're setting a baseline on camp 1. A couple weeks later, they're going to be at camp 2. How do I improve? What's my takeaway from the week of learning FBU? What can I bring and improve to my next one? So it is, again, hard statistics that allows coaches to see, both not only FBU coaches, but the college coaches, really to see what a quarterback's really doing. And this is the stuff that all the pros and top-level colleges are put through just for that extra evaluation, and we're bringing it right to our kids at FBU.
100%. I mean, and Joe, we've seen some of these quarterbacks take that data and really apply it and try to improve. And some of these guys have punched their ticket, that other golden ticket, down to San Antonio, Texas for the National Combine. Right here, these were some great student athletes. I believe these guys were from St. Louis, Joe. These are our soldiers, and look at them outfitted in that Soldier Sports beautiful hoodie right there. Huge thanks to Soldier Sports for outfitting all of our student athletes at a regional camp with a mouth guard, with a bag. Some of our select winners are getting those fantastic hoodies, which you can get on their website. But these kids right here are the elite of the elite, right? And we've already given out about 40 National Combine invites thus far during camp season. And we're going to keep giving out National Combine invites as long as the talent is there, right? And guess what? If you don't get to earn that National Combine invite at a regional camp, come to Top Gun, because we're going to be giving out about 150 to 200 more of those down there. Okay, so if you want to get down to the biggest one-day combine in the country, the day before the All-American Bowl on NBC, which we're also giving invites out to down at Top Gun at the Paradise Coast, then get to a camp. Come compete. I mean, the National Combine talent we've seen thus far has just been incredible. Joe, there was a 6'8" offensive lineman in Lexington this weekend. You can believe that he punched his ticket down to the National Combine.
No doubt.
But look, I mean, it's been a great camp season thus far. Like I said, after this weekend, we'll have been through 12 of our 38 camps. Could not be more excited about the remaining 26 camps in May and June. Just been a fantastic support from a lot of our sponsors. NCSA has been at all of our camps, providing great recruiting information to all of our parents and players who've been on site. Cannot thank them enough. Certainly, parents and players, if you want to learn more about recruiting, they're a great resource for you, and they'll be at all of our camps moving forward. But everybody from Adidas, providing all the camp apparel, Wilson, Gatorade, Soldier, No Sweat, you name it. The support has been fantastic. But, Joe, I think it's time we get into the meat and potatoes tonight and bring on our special guests. So how about we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be here with Paris Johnson Jr., former Army All-American Bowl on NBC player, FBU alumni, and current Ohio State Buckeye.
Let's do it.
We are back with FBU Huddle, and we are joined by the traveling man, one of the best offensive linemen in the country, Paris Johnson Jr. Paris, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Look, you look like you're doing fantastic, man. A little dinner after some long travels into Atlanta. What are you doing down in Atlanta?
I'm doing some training with Will Anderson.
Okay. Man, one of the greatest to ever do it. And you're down there still getting work in the off season. How is off season training going? Are you kind of itching to get into spring ball and then into camp in the fall?
Yes, so we just wrapped up spring ball. So I'm really excited getting into fall camp and summer training. So far, the off season training has been like really good for me.
Hey, and what was it like, just for the student athletes at home, that, you remember 4 or 5 years ago, you were looking up to kids that were playing at, whether it was Ohio State or Clemson, what was it like, to get reps and snaps in the national championship game this past year? I mean, look, a young guy like yourself, true freshman out there getting reps. What was that like?
Well, it was honestly crazy because, like before the game, like we were heading down to Miami to play him. I was thinking about how years ago, the last time Ohio State played Alabama, I was cheering on Alabama at the time. And it felt crazy to me that, and then when my number got called in the middle of the game to go in, at like that point, all the thinking stopped, and I was trying to play, and I feel like it just happened like naturally. And it was really fun to think about, like, wow, like not that long ago, I'm sitting in front of TV with my mom, like, come on, how's Alabama, stay blah, blah, blah. And then now I have the opportunity to do that. And it felt cool, that we're also playing in that stadium. Since my dad, when he played with the Dolphins, mom was in that stadium like 20 years before. So like about 20 years later, she's in there watching me. So I know for her, that was something special as well.
I mean, that's full circle, man. And I love what you said. Instinct took over, right? I mean, you put in all the work, all the training, the high school practices, the off-season football camps, everything that you put in, when your number was called, it didn't matter, right? You were ready to rumble and you were ready to go. Well, look, Paris, we could not be more thrilled to have you join us. Obviously you're a family member, an FBU family member, somebody that we love to interact with. We love seeing you at the camps. We love seeing you playing the All-American Bowl on NBC, and now you're having success on the field at Ohio State. But more importantly, Paris, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is we get real excited when our student athletes are doing something positive in the community. And you, more than maybe anybody else that we've had the joy of getting to know during this, FBU camp season, is you're giving back. You've created your own foundation. It's called the Paris Johnson Jr. Foundation. Can you tell everybody at home, what is the Paris Johnson Jr. Foundation? How did you start it? And what does it impact?
Yeah, so the Paris Johnson Jr. Foundation, it's really all about, like, there's 2 pillars. One that deals with disabled and homeless veterans that I have a passion for. Somebody who I've always had a passion for people in the military, and just I feel like that's a very selfless act, because as a believer, I think the most ultimate sacrifice was Jesus dying on the cross, and then the next is like serving for your country.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes a lot to do that. And the second pillar is I want to work with underprivileged athletes because, I feel like that connects to myself. Like I've my whole life, like my mom raised me and my sister, and there were so many people that poured into my life to help me become where I'm at right now, and still, on my path to keep improving. That people that have came along and they've blessed us, and I feel like it would be wrong for me not to have a passion for want to do that for other athletes, because there's plenty of other people who can do it, just not everybody has the same amount of resources.
100%. I mean, and that's such a great thing, Paris, because we see that all the time, right? There's student athletes out there that they're great young men, they're great athletes, and they just don't have the means, or the opportunity to go after that chance, right? So look, for all you other young student athletes that are watching this tonight, take notes. This is what you should strive to do, right? To not only be a great student athlete and a great player, but be a positive, great impact on your community and try to leave your mark on this world. And Paris, that's what you're trying to do. And we couldn't be prouder at FBU. And with that being said, we'd like to announce that for the next week, we've got our Cincinnati and Columbus camps next weekend that will be taking place May 1st and May 2nd. May 1st will be at Paris's alma mater, Princeton High School, post St. X, obviously. And then the following day in Columbus at Paris's soon-to-be alma mater, Ohio State. But anybody that registers between now and next Saturday and uses the code PARIS online when they register, we will make a donation as FBU to the Paris Johnson Jr. Foundation. A portion of your registration fees are going to go to his charity. Paris, this is what we want to do. We could not be more excited to do that. So everybody out there, if you are trying to become a better athlete, if you are trying to do something that is going to have a positive impact on your community and in the world, get registered for these camps so that we can give back even more to Paris's foundation. Joe, any comments or questions for Paris before we let him go back to dinner with Willie?
No, not at all, man. I'm just proud of you for giving back to the community. See a lot of kids these days with that whole NIL that's coming out, focusing on themselves, their own brand, and what's in it for them. You're actually flipping it and saying, what can I do? What can I use my status, my own personal brand to give back to the community? For that, man, I applaud you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being a part of it and helping me out and help leading the way.
Well, Paris, man, look, go get some dinner. All right, go finish your meal. I'm sure Willie's gonna have you up early in the morning. But look, we'll send out more information to everybody watching about the opportunity to be involved with Paris's charity and give back to his cause and join him in that cause. But Paris, thanks again for joining us tonight, and we'll see you soon down the road.
See you soon.
Well, Matt, I tell you what a great young man Paris has evolved into. I mean, we knew it was coming because we got to see him mature over life. But, man, to really give back to his community is something that our young athletes can inspire no matter what level they're at. Ways they can be giving back at their high school, when they're in the high school level, at the youth level, to their community, helping kids around them. I think it's a great role model for youth of America. Yeah,
I mean, look, it's honestly a breath of fresh air, right? And somebody that, he's just a young man, and I admire him, and I think our company admires him. Somebody that is taking the steps at an early age to put others first and put a cause first. I think that's a rare trait in this world to have people that want to put others before themselves. And he already knows that. He's already doing it. And for him to be okay with us aligning with his charity is, grace, just graceful by him. And we couldn't be more excited. So for everybody out there that's interested in registering for FBU Cincinnati and Columbus, please do so. And if you register using the code PARIS, a portion of your registration will go to his foundation. Help us in helping him give back to the great cause that he is supporting. And hopefully we'll have the chance to do more of this down the road and work with other student athletes that are currently in our camp system that maybe are inspired to do the same when they get to his age and of his status. So, Joe, it's always a pleasure and always a good time. And guess what? We're going to start doing this on a weekly, aren't we?
I'm loving that idea.
So look out for us next week. We'll be recapping the FBU Indianapolis camp, and then we'll be doing this every week from here on out this camp season, recapping every camp, talking about the top players, the invites, the awards that went out. So, Joe, I appreciate your time. Everybody, have a great evening.
You got it, Matt. See you again.